Thank you very much. First of all, it is a great pleasure to be part of this conference already for the 5th time and to be able to host and greet honorable guests to this conference from Europe. We have every year increasing number of visitors to this conference, so interest is growing. And at the same time, Georgia is advancing on its path to Europe, together with the annual conference held in Georgia. And I think that today we have good opportunity to talk about the future of Georgia's EU relations, as well as a general perspective of the EU's engagement with the region. We had very good statements and interesting and visionary statements from the leaders, Georgian Prime Minister, as well as Commissioner Hahn, which set a stage for further discussions. And I also would like to thank the participants of this panel for being in Georgia, participating in this conference, and supporting Georgia's European way. As you rightly mentioned, I've been actively involved in foreign policy of Georgia in my different capacities, and especially in the process of European integration over the last years. I'm also being an active participant of negotiations on deep and comprehensive free trade area agreement when I was a Deputy Minister of Economy. And therefore, I would like to share with you my thoughts on how we can build on what we have achieved so far and go forward in the future. So over the past years, the relations between the EU and partners have been evolving against rapidly changing geopolitical context, and so have the European neighborhood policy and the Eastern Partnership. If I may say, symbolically, Batumi International Conference has been the witness of these changes since the launch of the European Neighborhood Policy, and the agenda of the 13th session of the conference reflects this new political reality around us. Naturally, the future of the EU's policy towards the countries of the neighborhood is among the topical issues today. Obviously, the world of today is not the one we lived in 24 or even in 29. Having assessed the challenges and the needs in the neighborhood and the EU alike, the latest ENP review came up with a valid priority of promoting stabilization through a set of initiatives ranging from economic modernization and inclusive growth to building resilience and enhanced security cooperation. We are happy to have contributed to the ENP review process and to see that many of our suggestions and ideas were actually reflected in the joint communication. The key aspect of the ENP, new ENP, is a stronger focus on differentiation, which allows developing a tailor-made approach with individual partners. It is evident that the interests and levels of integration with the EU vary significantly among the Eastern European countries, and it is quite visible for everyone. We do believe that the Eastern Partnership is a framework of potentials, contributions, and benefits for all partnering sides who can freely choose the level of their ambitions and goals in relations with the EU. Therefore, the genuine application of the principle of differentiation along with the more for more approach will encourage partners to fully explore this potential. So, focus should be made on key sectors of common interest that bring practical benefits to the population and contribute to the stabilization efforts of the government through promoting inclusive economic development, employment and employability, education and enhanced mobility, engagement of the youth, cooperation in research, science and innovations, and to create knowledge-based jobs, promote connectivity, exchange between the EU and partners through extending pan-European networks, and also to try to integrate more, especially integrate markets with the help of DCFTAs. Against the growing security threats, which we all see in the region and beyond, we need to step up cooperation in order to strengthen our resilience and find lasting solutions to the unresolved conflicts which pose serious impediments to full implementation of our ambitious agenda of stabilization in the region. And I think that recent trends shows that European Union as well as NATO and the partners are interested in making efforts and making real steps towards ensuring more security in Europe and in its neighborhood. I should say that the ENP and Eastern Partnership have effectively provided to Georgia a concrete framework for the realization of our vision of building a functional European democracy and a genuine market economy, along with developing ever close ties with the European Union, especially after the entry into force of the association agreement since the 1st of July. But we've been implementing this agreement provisionally since 2014, and it has brought to Georgia a real European transformation. And we want to make sure that it's not only beneficial to Georgia, but it has a real transformative power of the EU in the whole region. So we have a very comprehensive action plan, and we are moving forward in accordance with this action plan. This action plan is agreed with the European Union, and we have huge support from the member states as well as from the European Union itself in implementing this plan. But most important here is that we have support of Georgian population and Georgian people in implementing this plan. Without that, we would have not been able to implement all these reforms which have been crucial for Georgia's development. We have strong support from the civil society. We have strong and vocal civil society, which is the major indicator of Georgian democracy and development today, and we have their very strong support in the implementation of our association agenda. At the same time, we have very positive results in terms of market integration and implementation of DCFTA, which is very much supportive to getting tangible results to private sector and individual citizens, and we are continuing implementation of this agreement, and Commissioner mentioned today that we have excellent results in that regard. Now another very expected deliverable is a visa liberalization, and I think that it will be a huge step forward in our European path. It will create more opportunities for trade. It will create more opportunities for cultural exchanges, people-to-people relations, and will support further transformation of Georgia and bringing people closer with each other. And it is a very much expected result. We know that process is going in Europe. We know that, and we understand that the environment is quite complex in the European Union, currently facing migration crisis and other challenges, but we hope that Europe will deliver on its commitment, which is so much expected, and Georgian people who supported the government of Georgia in implementing all the reforms will get this expected and deserved result. So we also hope that we will continue working together on security issues, and we need to work together to make sure that Georgia, as a very important strategic partner for Europe, is in the security vision of the European Union, and we are happy that we've seen the Europe's new draft vision about the security of Europe as well, European Union as well as its neighbors, and Georgia is part of this shared vision. We are an important energy security provider to Europe with the energy projects we are implementing together with the European Union and our neighbors, and we will continue to be a reliable partner when it comes to transit of not only energy but also goods, and connecting Europe with Asia, being part of Europe, major partner of European Union, open for Asian businesses. So actually we are limited in time, so I will stop here, but we will have more opportunity then to interact with the public and the audience. And I want to mention one thing. Georgia is fully committed, dedicated, and mobilized to progress on the European path. This is the wish and the choice of Georgian people. And we will use all existing instruments like the association agreement, first of all, to transform our country into a truly European state, and then to be ready for that chance, which will be a historical chance for Georgia. Thank you very much.